It's February 5th, JLD here, and welcome to MSTR. Today in the Treasury Titans. Nothing in this video is financial advice, and we do not have much to celebrate. But it is Michael Saylor's birthday, so let's just wish Michael Saylor a happy birthday with this orange cake. He can blow out his candles as he's out there soldering some computer board as he decides to financially engineer the world. I'm going to actually hit the X button here so we can go back. And he said, if you want to get me a birthday gift, buy some Bitcoin for yourself. He posted this yesterday on his birthday. Michael Saylor is relentless. He has seen the absolute light. I mean, I showed you that chart yesterday. Strategy was below MNAV for an incredibly long period of time. This is back when Bitcoin was at like 16,000, 18,000, 20,000. They just kept buying in the depths of the bear, and nothing is going to change now. The pendulum will swing. It's just a matter of when. But yes, these are brutal times. Strategy is at the intersection, says Chris, of three systems: money, Bitcoin, and corporate strategy. So here we have the money, here we have the Bitcoin, here we have the corporate strategy, and in the middle is strategy, benefiting from all of the above. Hermes says, if strategy makes no future purchases, effectively pausing everything, MSTR will have a $711 billion market cap once Bitcoin hits $1 million. This will put MSTR around $2,500 to $2,600 per share. Now, listen, that's if strategy makes no future purchases. This is effectively pausing everything. Now, we know the strategy is making so many more purchases between now and 1 million Bitcoin, so many more. So what does that mean for the share price? So much higher. So if you believe in Bitcoin, if you believe that Bitcoin is going to 1 million, all we need to do is sit back and wait. Chris says, the two most important metrics I use for gauging the strength of strategy are: one, Bitcoin years of dividend coverage, and two, USD months of dividend coverage. The bigger those metrics, the stronger strategy is, and the smaller the probability of a tail risk event. The smaller those metrics, the weaker strategy is, and the bigger the probability of a tail risk event. These metrics are disproportionately critical today when you consider the context we are approaching the culmination of a fourth turning, which is typically characterized by major crisis. Do not underestimate that variable. At the end of the day, all strategy and Michael Saylor are doing is increasing both 1 and 2. That's what they're doing. We have the earnings call a little bit later today. I hope you join. I'll be of course sharing my thoughts on that in tomorrow's episode. And here we go. Michael Saylor is probably going to have some pretty cool announcement for us. Mike Alfred says most likely downside target is 1,000 to 2,500 away. This is probably when Bitcoin was at about 73,000. He said max downside 13K. Upside in the short term is 315,000. Long-term upside is limited only by how many dollars they can print. This is asymmetry at its finest form. Do the math. Now, Mike Alfred is a perma bull. That's why I follow him, because I like the perma bulls. I like the optimists. I believe in people who believe in Bitcoin and believe in where we're going. And, as Pomp says, the one thing that he knows is the government will never stop printing money. As Lynn Alden says, nothing stops this train. But yes, there will be a few stops and hiccups along the way. Just hopefully no major derailments. I thought this was pretty interesting. Michael Saylor says, Apple, this is from 2014, by the way, February 7th, 2014. So almost exactly 12 years ago. What were you doing 12 years ago? Think about this. Crazy. Michael Saylor posted, Apple and Google went from the bottom of the S&P 500 to the top in 15 years. Innovation rates are accelerating. Consider the implications. Just think about that. Innovation rates are accelerating. Consider the implications. That's exactly what we're living through right now with everything that's going on in the world. And who pulled this up? Actually, it was Ry Quant. So that's why I wanted to first go with the tweet from Saylor. And Ryan says, other than strategy, there is no known repeat buyer of Bitcoin. In size, This is a one race horse. If Bitcoin is to succeed and outperform equities QQQ for decades to come, then MSTR will disproportionately benefit from this outcome. The pain of the past 12 months is that the opposite has happened. However, the past 12 months is an independent variable to what the next 2 decades can look like. Consider the implications of power and optionality for strategy as a first and last mover advantage. And then, of course, let's just end with some bloodbath. I mean, to see Bitcoin in the 69s. I mean, I just so clearly remember 5 years ago, give or take, it was in 2021. I'm walking on my street, refreshing my phone, of course, walking my same dog, Gus. He was a lot younger then, but I was still walking him. And I remember seeing Bitcoin hit 69,000 on my phone. And that was a new all time high. And I was like, oh my God, that's insane. We're going so much higher. And then, of course, we went to 16,000. So some of us have been there before. This is brutal times all around. And nobody wants to see Bitcoin in the 60s. Nobody wants to see it in the 50s. No one wants to see it in the 40s. Well, of course, there are people that want to see that. That's the bears. But no Bitcoin bulls want to see that, except the ones that are just so convicted that they just want these prices to keep buying at generational entries. So we're going to flip over to a Michael Saylor clip. At these times, again, I just like to listen to Michael Saylor because he's seen the light. He has this all mapped out. It's just a matter of waiting. He waited during 2022, 2023. He, of course, was rewarded in 2024. And then it felt the pain of 2025 and now into 2026. And once again, the pendulum will swing. And I really hope that everybody listening is still there, is still here when the pendulum swings. And by the way, thank you for the comments yesterday. Of course, these are really tough times. And this is when we need to come together as a community, people that really believe in Bitcoin, people that really believe in strategy, people that really believe in Michael Saylor. Thank you for those comments. Thank you for your likes. They allow me to just be able to get up and turn this microphone on every single morning. So if you want to just share where you're listening from, I just love, or watching from, I just love those comments because I can just now picture people around the world actually consuming this content. And it makes me want to continue to do this every single day. So thank you in advance for people that are commenting, that are liking. It really does mean a lot. Thank you for the kind words. And Michael Saylor is going to take it away as soon as we get back from thanking our sponsors. When you want more, start your business with Northwest Registered Agent and get access to thousands of free guides, tools, and legal forms to help you launch and protect your business all in one place. Build your complete business identity with Northwest today. Northwest Registered Agent has been helping small business owners and entrepreneurs launch and grow businesses for nearly 30 years. They are the largest registered agent and LLC service in the U.S. with over 1,500 corporate guides, real people who know your local laws and can help you in your business every step of the way. Build your business identity fast with resources, forms, and step-by-step guides, even before creating an account. Sign up to manage your business hub with lawyer-drafted documents. Northwest is your one-stop resource, makes life easy, and keeps privacy automatic, never selling data anywhere. Don't wait. Protect your privacy, build your brand, and get your complete business identity in just 10 clicks and 10 minutes. Visit www.northwestregisteredagent.com/JLD free and start building something amazing. Get more with Northwest Registered Agent at www.northwestregisteredagent.com/JLD free. Scams and identity theft do not start with hackers. They start with your personal data being easy to find online. Your home address, phone number, and employment history can be sitting on dozens of websites right now, waiting to be used for fake loans, targeted scams, or worse. That information is spread across people's search pages, shady directories, and commercial databases you've never even heard of. That's where Incogni comes in. Instead of spending hundreds of hours manually opting out of these sites, Incogni automates the entire process. They hunt down your data and demand its removal. Incogni doesn't just do this once. They continuously monitor these sites in the background to make sure your data doesn't reappear. I recommend the unlimited plan because when something isn't covered automatically, Incogni's custom removals feature lets you send in a specific link and a dedicated privacy expert takes care of the manual removal for you, start to finish. Remember, if they can't find you, they can't use your data against you. Take your data back risk-free with Incogni's 30-day money-back guarantee. Use code MSTR for 60% off an annual plan at incogni.com/MSTR. That's INCOGNI.com/MSTR.
But once you embrace the idea that Bitcoin is digital capital, then the next issue is, well, what is treasury company? Well, treasury company is just a new kind of corporation, literally impossible in the world where public companies are capitalized on fiat credit. It doesn't make sense to sell equity to buy back sovereign debt because the equity cost of capital is above 14%. The sovereign debt has an after-tax yield of 3%, 2%, 1%. Doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make sense to issue corporate credit to buy back fiat or sovereign debt either, right? Makes no sense. What does make sense? Well, issue securities backed by digital capital. I'd like to say we understood this business 5 years ago. We didn't, right? Our entree into Bitcoin was first defensive, then it was opportunistic, then it was strategic, and finally it became transformational. Then we realized we're a different company. So what is the basic premise of a treasury company? Well, it's very simple. You have a block of digital capital, raw digital energy. Here, it's commodity. The world doesn't want it. What the world wants is a set of securities, either credit instruments or equity instruments or derivatives that meet their requirements. The analogy I've used before is Standard Oil. Think of a refinery. I have a block of raw liquid energy. Einstein said matter and energy, they're interchangeable. I have raw liquid energy in the form of a barrel of crude oil. The first application was kerosene. Kerosene is jet fuel. Kerosene lights up your house. Kerosene was light. Kerosene is rocket fuel. You can't light up your house with a barrel of crude oil. You can't fly a jet with a barrel of crude oil. So we needed kerosene. We refine it. We mark it up. But there's gasoline, there's diesel, there's asphalt. And then if you actually go on an AI and say, tell me all the specialty chemicals of crude oil, there's also lycra, there's also acrylic, there's also plexiglass, there's PVC piping, your lubricants, every form of plastic, stuff you eat, nylon, polyester, right? It goes on and on. We build the houses, we turn the machines, we look through these things, and they're all products, right? So I can refine it to be a different form of energy, whether it's kerosene or gasoline or diesel. I can create lycra or I can create plexiglass, right? And so products, services, forms of energy come from that barrel of crude oil. How big is that? Well, I mean, just think about, at some point, Standard Oil also owned half the gas stations. So you've got gas stations, you've got every type of energy, and then you've got DuPont, and you've got everything that every chemical company ever created. And look at the stuff you're wearing. Probably you're wearing stuff that came out of a barrel of crude oil, right? It's the stuff that's in your tennis shoes, right? So it's not a difficult stretch to say, oh yeah, in the first year when John D. Rockefeller, maybe 1865, when he started screwing around with a barrel of crude oil and out came some kerosene, a lot of haters said, well, there's no future to this industry, right? And of course, the industry today is, what, a third of everything. Now let's take that digital energy. What is the role of Bitcoin? We say Bitcoin miners, they recycle stranded electricity or stranded energy. Well, Bitcoin treasury companies recycle stranded capital. Okay, more than half the capital, 2/3 of the capital is locked up in structured institutions right now. It's capital sitting in a bank, in a pension fund, an insurance fund, and a retirement account, and an institutional investment fund, and an index fund. In a money market fund, right? They're all locked up, the great majority of this capital, and they're in certain places. So what do they want? Well, the insurance companies and the pension funds, they want long duration yield, right? That's what they want. The money markets, they want this very short duration liquidity credit spread. Everybody wants something different. The equity investors want leverage on some underlying business model. The derivative investors want that. If you think about, think about the process of creating a piece of digital credit. What's the second best? There is no second best.